on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2017 Ridgeline, our newest vehicle and their newest van. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Toronto. It is an overcast night here. Comfortable temperature at 26 degrees. Kevin Cash, he hasn't been too comfortable this season. The Tampa Bay Rays are in last place in the American League, 45-66. They're 18 games back in the American League East. Let's take a look at the lineup for Tampa Bay. Blue Jays won 7-5 last night. Top of the order, Logan Forsythe. He had 3 hits in the game last night. That continues his trend of hitting against the Blue Jays this season. And Brad Miller, playing first base for the first time last night, extended his personal hit streak to 7 straight games.
Tampa Bay Rays tonight, that lineup gets Marco Estrada. Marco's getting ready for his 20th start of the season. Last time out, 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Won that game against the Houston Astros, picked up that 7th victory of the season, and they needed a big one last time out. Those 7 innings were the longest Marco went since he went 8 on June the 5th. That was at Boston. He's been almost unbeatable here at home. His earned run average here in 10 home starts at the Rogers Center, 269.
Marco Estrada really had a good outing last time out, as Pat mentioned, beating the Astros. He has always pitched well against Tampa Bay. This will be his 8th career start, his 8th career game, 4th career start. He is 1-1 with a 0.86 earned run average against Tampa Bay. He is set. Martin with the target. Here's the first pitch of the game. It's down and away for a ball, and we are underway. Logan Forsythe, we mentioned his 3 hits last night. He was 3 for 4, had an RBI. Batting .278 for the season. Goes after that low pitch and hits it into the seats out of play. Ball on the strike.
His eyes light up, don't they, when he sees the Blue Jays? He's put together some pretty good games against the Jays this season. The home run for him in the 9th inning off of Roberto Osuna. That got him to within a couple of runs.
There are the numbers we mentioned. Estrada pitching very well against Tampa Bay. Marco, his last time out, gave up a leadoff double to George Springer, then retired the next 3 Astros he faced to get out of the first. It's a fly ball to right. Bautista backing up at the track, at the wall. This ball is gone. Logan Forsythe, with his 13th home run of the season, continues to wear out the Blue Jays. That's his 6th extra base hit of the season against the Jays.
I think that's 4 home runs now against the Blue Jays. 13th home run. Homered, like I said, the 9th inning last night against Osuna. He starts tonight off with a home run. That was an elevated pitch, 2-1 pitch, right over the middle, 4-seamer right over the middle, and Forsythe knocks it into the bullpen.
Well, the ball's carrying tonight. You can see a fly ball sails into the bullpen in right. Kevin Kiermaier breaks his bat. Tulowitzki has to unload in a hurry in time to get Kiermaier. Well, Tulowitzki has been the backbone of this great Blue Jays defense since he came over last season. In the outfield is Saunders, Upton, and Bautista from left to right. Donaldson and Tulowitzki man the left side. Devin Travis and Smoke are on the right side, and Russell Martin making his first start since Saturday in Kansas City.
Maybe the play of the game last night. Devin Travis yesterday, 6th inning, when he erased that leadoff double in the 6th inning. It was a heads-up play. There was a runner at second base, a ground ball to him. He got the runner at second base. It was a close game at the time, and the Rays would not score again until the 9th inning, thanks to Devin's great heads-up play.
It was a 4-4 game at that point. Souza hit a leadoff double, then he was moving to third on a ground ball. Then Devin Travis made a heads-up play. Evan Longoria 0-for-3 in the game last night. Ball on the strike. Longoria is just 1 for 11 against Marco Estrada for his career.
There are the numbers right there. In his last 10 games, he hasn't been swinging a hot bat. He had a big at bat last night's game in the 7th inning.
Ground ball up the middle. Travis won't make the play. It sneaks under his glove into center. A 1-out single for Longoria.
Rays had a couple of runners on again in a close game, and he ended up striking out against Joaquin Benoit. This time, though, right back through the middle. Looked like another fastball. Maybe even a cutter from Estrada.
Longoria with his first hit of the series. Now Brad Miller, he had a pair of doubles in last night's game. Tampa Bay hit 6 doubles in the ball game last night. Miller had 2. He now has 20 doubles for the season, go along with 20 home runs. Playing at first base, his second major league game starting at first base. He's a natural shortstop.
Spent a couple of days working with Tom Foley, the infield instructor for the Tampa Bay Rays, going over situations, and said, look, I'm an infielder. I can handle that. The thing I need to know are the nuances of playing first base, where to go on cutoffs and relays, the bunt plays, things like that. But there's no question he can handle it.
2-1. There are a lot of things going on over at first, and you remember the great line in the movie Moneyball when Billy Bean's character, where Brad Pitt as Billy Bean, said, first base is easy, no problem. Then he turned to Ron Washington sitting there and says, tell him, Wash, first base is easy. And Wash said, it's extremely difficult. But you take it for granted, you know, everybody says, oh, put him over at first, he can play. But there are a lot of things going on there.
How about the pickoff plays? Yesterday, there were a couple of tough ones for him.
2-2 to Miller. Change up off the end of the bat. Tulowitzki makes a fine catch. Boy, what a determined effort by Tulowitzki. He just stayed with it, roamed into the outfield, and made a fine catch to take a hit away from Miller.
Got to put a little star next to that one right there. Watch the move by Tulowitzki. Plants and goes, reads it off the bat right away with those long arms and that long reach. He is able to take away a base hit from Brad Miller. Boy, he has been playing some great shortstop.
There have been a lot of red stars in the scorebook for the Blue Jays defense lately. Devin Travis had a couple of them last night. This is Mikey Matuk. He was in right field last night. Tonight he starts in left field. Matuk 1 for 3 in the ball game. Estrada starting to get zeroed in.
You know, you mentioned that that Springer had a leadoff double against him in his last start down in Houston. After that, he retired 16 of the next 17. He got on a nice little roll.
Bounced and blocked by Martin. First innings are challenges for starting pitchers coming out of the bullpen. It's a different mound, and even though this is the home mound for Estrada, there are always little adjustments and subtle adjustments each start. And the ball in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tampa Bay gets a leadoff home run from Logan Forsythe. They have taken a 1-0 lead.
You know, first innings are also tough, especially the type of pitcher that Marco is. He's a touch and feel kind of pitcher with that changeup and that curveball, and right now he's just getting the feel for it.
Just off the plate, full count. So there are 2 outs. Longoria at first, as you see Corey Dickerson on deck. Longoria will get a running start as Smoke is backed up behind the runner at first. Took strikes out. The changeup does the trick. Tampa Bay scores a run on 2 hits. The home run by Forsythe gives them a 1-0 lead. Drew Smyly takes the mound. Home run by Logan Forsythe. John Gibbons Blue Jays tied for first place in the AL East. Oakland and Baltimore will play later on tonight. Out west, top of the order, Devin Travis. He's got a 5-game hit streak. Look at those numbers. 12 hits, 5 extra base hits. He had a 4-hit game last night for the first time in his career. And Josh Donaldson, he likes the left-hander that's on the mound tonight for Tampa Bay. Drew Smyly, he's gone 8 for 17 against Smyly. And the Blue Jays need some offense. They broke out a bit last night. They scored 7 runs on 12 hits. They'd like to do the same tonight.
Well, here comes another hot pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. Drew Smyly had one of his best outings on Thursday, pitching 7 innings and allowing just 2 runs on a home run by Alex Gordon. That was in a Tampa Bay win. Still picked up a no decision, even though he struck out 10 batters. That was the 4th time this season that he has had a double-digit strikeout game.
Devin Travis takes a first pitch strike. Travis just 1 for 2 against Smyly. Hadn't faced him a lot. Pops this one in the air to right. Steven Souza Jr., the right fielder, calls for it and makes the catch. 1 away. Take a look at the defense behind Drew Smyly. In the outfield, Mikey has moved from right to left. Kiermaier back in center field. He's a platinum defender. In center, Steven Souza Jr. is in right. Longoria, Beckham, Forsythe, and Brad Miller around the infield. And Luke Maile makes a start behind the plate.
Drew Smyly is a fly ball type of pitcher, so you have to have good defense. This is one of the best right here. He can go get him. Since returning from the DL after the All-Star break, Kevin Kiermaier has 7 more putouts than any other major league outfielder. He is second to Kevin Pillar for American League center fielders in defensive runs saved, even though he's played in 59 fewer games. Kevin leads with 17.
Jose Bautista puts in charge in it high and deep to left at the wall, and Matuk can't make the play. Bautista will stop at second. Mikey Matuk mistimed his jump. He had a shot at it. He jumped too early and then missed it.
You know what? He might have been better off letting Kevin Kiermaier get to that ball. Normally, the center fielder is going to call off the left fielder, but it looked like Kiermaier had a beat on it, but then gave up as Matuk looked like he called for it. Watch him right there. Kiermaier's looking for it, then he backs off. Matuk misses it. One more time, he takes a look at the wall and misses it. Kiermaier's got to back him up. All told, though, Bautista's got a double off the top of the wall.
18th double of the season for Bautista. Mikey Matuk made a bad play in the first inning last night, taking a dive for a sinking liner in right. Got past him, and Devin Travis ended up with his first big league triple. Tough to make a dive on the first batter of an inning.
Yeah, you better be awfully sure you're going to catch the ball or at least knock it down, because that one mistake, that means extra bases.
Josh Donaldson with big numbers against Drew Smyly, 8 for 17 with 3 home runs. Boy, the Blue Jays are anxious to get back on the upswing offensively. It's been quite a drought, but Josh Donaldson told me today, hey, you know, it's like a roller coaster. We're going to get hot sometimes. There's going to be cold spells, and right now we're just in a little bit of a funk.
You know, it's been tough for the Blue Jays. Normally, you'll have like 1 guy go down or 2 guys get cold, 3 guys stay hot. For a team, basically, they've been down for 10 games or so. They've struggled as a unit.
On the 7-game road trip, the Blue Jays hit 193 as a team. Donaldson takes the ball in the dirt. Ball 4. So the 1-out double, now the walk. And the Blue Jays took advantage of walks last night, and it really made a difference in the ball game. The bullpen came in and walked 3 straight batters in the 7th, and that's when the Blue Jays broke the game wide open.
Walks and wild pitches and sloppy plays, and then clutch hitting. Also, Bautista with a 2-run hit, and the guy standing at the plate for the Blue Jays, Encarnacion, had a big 2-run base hit. He's driven in 3 runs now in a game 12 times this year.
That's tied for the most in the major leagues. Nolan Arenado of Colorado, Josh Donaldson, and Encarnacion, they have both had 12 3-RBI games, as has Mark Trumbo. So there are 4 big league hitters that have had 12 games of 3 or more RBIs this season. David Ortiz and Anthony Rizzo. Ortiz with the Red Sox, of course, Rizzo with the Cubs. They both have 11 such games.
That's what they are paid to do. Sluggers drive in big runs. Here's another chance for Edwin to drive in some runs.
Edwin hit his 31st home run last night. He has 299 career home runs. Trying to become the 11th Dominican-born hitter with 300 or more home runs. Jose Bautista has 301. Encarnacion is seeing the ball very well. That's not a pitch he wants to swing at on a hitter's count.
Yeah, 2-0. He is looking for something that he can drive out of the ballpark. And Drew Smyly just made a good pitch on him. 2-0, you can look for location and you can look for your pitch. And that just wasn't one that Edwin wanted.
Off speed pitch, he hooks foul. The all-time Dominican-born home run hitter, Sammy Sosa, 609. Albert Pujols, who we'll see later on in September here at Rogers Center, 581. And it's a virtual who's who of sluggers. Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, Vladdy Guerrero, Adrian Beltre, Alfonso Soriano, Aramis Ramirez, and Miguel Tejada.
I'll take my chances with that team.
That's a pretty good lineup.
Scoring some runs.
Bautista at 301, Tejada's next at 307, and then it jumps all the way up to 386. Aramis Ramirez, who has retired, hit 386 home runs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Edwin Encarnacion. 1 out. In the dirt, Bautista thought about it and then stops halfway to third. Full count, 1 out. Russell Martin on deck. Blue Jays have been a very efficient club in the first inning. They've been near the top of runs scored in the first inning all season long.
One of the problems that Drew Smyly has had this year is he's given up a lot of home runs. Left-hander's given up 23, tied for 5th most in the American League.
Encarnacion got fooled on the pitch and is called out.
Well, he might have got away with a mistake right there. It looked like Edwin was looking for something else. And Drew Smyly crossed him up. That's a 4-seam fastball right there. Edwin, you can see how late he was on that swing. He was expecting something off speed. Smyly will use his fastball 54% of the time with 2 strikes. He'll also use his curveball and his slider a lot with 2 strikes. That time he crossed up Edwin.
The Blue Jays have scored 81 runs in the first inning. Second in the majors to the Washington Nationals, who have scored 87. Russell Martin trying to add to that total. When Russell's swinging the bat well, he hits a lot of balls to the alley and right center, and you can see the way the defense is set up. It reflects his strength. Kiermaier is shaded in the alley in center. Souza's awfully shallow in right field.
He's very shallow. He's got a good arm. He's got 4 outfield assists, but look how shallow Steven Souza is in right field.
High fly ball to right. Souza is there. He backs up and makes the catch. The Blue Jays get a double and a walk, but leave a pair. Tampa Bay after 1 with a 1-0 lead.
earlier in the game about the play that Devon Travis made yesterday at second base, throwing the runner out at third. I asked him after the game about that play, and he said, with a smile on his face, I saw Jose Altuve do that in Houston, and I thought, that looks really cool. I'd like to be able to do that as well. He said everything had to work out perfectly. The ball had to be hit hard enough, and of course Josh Donaldson made a perfect tag on that play to make sure that it was going to happen. And you mentioned Jose Altuve's name, and guys, why it's way too early in Devon Travis's career to start drawing comparisons. When you look at the numbers that he put up last year in April and what he's done so far this year, 162 games in the league, 18 home runs, an average over 300. He's definitely giving the Blue Jays a lot more than a lot of people ever expected, especially when you look back to the injuries that he had to go through. He told me in spring training there were times where he didn't think he was ever going to come back from this, but now here he is healthy once again, and he has been a huge spark plug for this Blue Jays team.
Well, he sure has, Barry, and he is quite the young man. He's as pleasant a young ball player as I've been around in a long time. He's a hard worker, comes out, puts his work in every single day, anxious to get better. And he's now reaping the rewards of those long hours of rehab in the offseason.
Yeah, and cares. He cares about his team. It's a close-knit team. Just wants to do well.
This is Corey Dickerson. Dickerson pinch hit in the game last night and struck out. Dickerson struck out against Osuna leading off the top of the ninth.
You can see he doesn't have a real high batting average, but he's got tremendous power. We have watched him already this year hit long home runs against the Blue Jays, and he doesn't have to pull it to knock it out here. He's hit a couple of home runs to left field. He's hit a ball to right field. Got to make pitches on him.
Right back to the mound. Another weakly hit ball off the bat of Dickerson. One down.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
One out. Top of the second inning. Tampa Bay with a 1-0 lead. Steven Souza Jr. was the DH in last night's game. He finished up 1 for 3. He takes a strike. Good first pitch from Estrada. He dropped that hook in there for a strike. Souza was showing money.
That's a free strike right there. If you can drop that little curveball in there. Hitters are geared for that #1. Or if you're Marco Estrada, they might even be sitting on your changeup. If you drop that curveball in there, now you put that in his mind.
Changeup missed just low. Marco Estrada has been as good as anybody in baseball at taking the sting out of hitters' bats this season. That's called third strike. Changeup to the outside corner. Not many pitchers can locate their changeup like Estrada, and these are the results of having that kind of command.
When you have that command away or in, your opponent's not going to hit a lot. There's a lot of weak contact when Marco Estrada's on the mound. In fact, 180 leads Major League Baseball ahead of the flamethrowers Kershaw, Arrieta, and Max Scherzer. He does it a little bit different. His style's a little bit different, but the results just about the same.
I would think that hitters would find facing Estrada more frustrating than it might be facing Arrieta or Strasburg or Kershaw. And they're more traditional pitchers. They're power pitchers. Yeah, they got great stuff, but Estrada throws so many pitches that look hittable that aren't.
Comfortable offers.
Comfortable offers.
You know what that is.
Guys running up to the batter's box and walking back.
No, like, I can hit this guy.
Yeah,
I know I can. You're
I'm
standing on the on-deck circle and you're like, give me a bat. Next thing you know, you're 0 for 4.
Tim Beckham chases that pitch up and away. Yeah, those are the guys that you hear in a dugout. You know, they just made an out, go back and dugout. I'll get you next time. You can't get me out with that stuff next time. Okay, I'll get you next time I see you.
Yeah, next series, right?
2-1, 2 outs.
Here's the most frustrating thing facing a pitcher like Marco, who's smart, is you're going to hit a ball hard, right? I'm going to get this guy. And he jams you, breaks your bat. You hit one off the end of the bat. I mean, that's the frustrating part. You have to go get some more wood.
2-2, 2 outs. Another changeup called strike 3. Estrada threw that changeup inside. 3 strikeouts through 2 innings for Marco.
Queen's Miracle Treat Day. Tonight's first pitch was thrown out by 11-year-old Bella Arcan from Saskatoon. Visit DQ this Thursday, and net proceeds from every blizzard will help kids like Bella being treated at local children's hospitals. Guys, I saw Bella before the game, and you could not wipe the smile off the young lady's face. It's really nice to see.
Barry, we got a chance to say hi to her and her family, and you're right, Thursday, all the donations from those blizzards that are sold at DQ will go toward that wonderful charity, and she was a wonderful young lady that got a chance to throw out the first pitch, and she was nervous.
What a nice family.
Yes. Troy Tulowitzki batting .243 for the season. Tulowitzki had a couple of walks in last night's game. He finished up 0 for 3, scored a run in that 3-run 7th inning. He's already made a fine defensive play here tonight. Took a hit away from Brad Miller on a little looper into left.
So far, Drew Smyly hasn't been very sharp. Double and a walk. He fell behind a couple of other hitters in the first inning. He's now fallen behind Troy Tulowitzki. Normally when you do that, you're not around very long. He was very sharp his last time out. That was against Kansas City, 7 innings. First time he threw 7 innings since June the 20th.
The Blue Jays are 15-17 for the season against left-handed starters, which is awfully surprising given the number of right-handed power hitters they have. Michael Saunders, he's hit well as a left-handed hitter against southpaws this season. He's got 8 home runs against lefties.
They got this guy earlier this season. But you're right, Blue Jays, a lot of right-handed batters.
High fly ball to right. Souza over into foul territory. He leaps a couple of rows into the seats, but he was about 2 rows short. Making sure all the fans are okay down there, and he is all right, so he takes his position back in right.
Hey, you're on TV, front row. Souza giving his all, thinks he has a shot at it, but he runs right into that fan, and he's only able to go about 2 rows deep.
So Tulowitzki will get another pitch. Here's the 3-2. Popped into center field. Souza coming over from right. He will get there and make the catch in shallow right center. 1 away.
He knows all about that, doesn't he?
Yeah, ball players, they don't miss a trick, do they? Watch this. Jose is mimicking the jump by Souza, and he crashed right into that fan who was standing up, and he really couldn't get off the ground. 1 away, Michael Sanders. Michael had 3 walks in the game last night. Had a base hit in his last at bat. That was in the 8th. So he was 1 for 2 with 3 walks.
Mentioned that he has hit a home run off of Drew Smyly. I think he hit 2 of them in his career. He's got a couple of home runs off of Smyly. Those were both down in Tampa. He has stayed on those left-handers this year. Got that front shoulder in there. He says that's the key for me to hit lefties. I got to be able to stay on that breaking ball away.
Foul ball right toward the second baseman Forsythe. 2 up, 2 down.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for tonight's starter, Drew Smyly. What he throws, he'll throw the fastball about 55% of the time, and he short arms it, so the ball gets up there quickly. It really surprises a lot of hitters. We've seen Edwin already take a fastball down the middle. Curveball, slider, changeup combination also. Right now, the curveball, they're only hitting 178 against that curveball. That's been a good out pitch for him this season.
Dustin Smoke goes after the first pitch and lines it right to the left fielder. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in their half of the second. We'll move to the third. 1-0 Tampa Bay.
We're going to have a big business meeting. Instead of doing it in one of those big boardrooms, it's all stuffy. Why not do it here at the Rogers Center? You can have one of these accurate luxury suites. The account executives will find the package that best suits your needs. Call 416-314-1635 or bluejays.com/luxury suites. Buck, it's possible to have a meeting and have a couple of beers and hot dogs, right, at the same time?
Well, I guess so. And especially at a ballpark, it's highly acceptable. Come on, have a good time with all your pals, get some business done, same time watch the Blue Jays.
You do it on the golf course.
Yes.
May as well do it here at Rogers Center.
That's where all the business used to take place in baseball, on the golf course. This is Luke Maile, the catcher, playing in his 17th game. Marco Estrada has got zeroed in after allowing a couple hits in the first inning. You know, you talk about Marco and how he's kind of comfortable. You know, he doesn't really do anything that will overmatch you other than the mix of his pitches. And he's got 4 big-time pitches: fastball, curveball, cutter, and a changeup. But none of them would really scout well. If you were watching Marco pitch as a high school or college pitcher, you'd say, oh, okay. But you appreciate him more the more you watch him pitch.
Because he does just that. He pitches. It's a lot like watching Mark Burley do his thing.
There's a changeup that's dropped into right field for a base hit for Maile. A leadoff single here in the third. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Luis Severino on the mound for the Yankees. As Jamie mentioned, Rick Porcello with 14 wins. He's on the mound for Boston.
I think he's 10-0 at Fenway Park this year.
He's had a great season.
Yes, he has.
This is Logan Forsythe. He had a leadoff home run in the first. Little fly ball into shallow center. Upton coming on quickly, makes a nice running catch.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations, proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Lots of fans coming out to Rogers Center on a regular basis last night. 43,812 on a Monday night. Kevin Kiermaier grounded out the shortstop. His only time up.
Rays have moved Kiermaier up in the batting order. Remember the last time we saw him, he was down around 8th in the lineup. I think he's better suited right here with his speed and his left-handed bat. Since he has been moved up in the lineup, he's been doing a few more things offensively. He's been bunting just a little bit more. They've used him to hit and run. There are his numbers against the Blue Jays this year. He's always had good at-bats against them.
Pops this one over the Blue Jays dugout, out of play. For Kiermaier, this is just the 8th game he's hit in the 2 spot. Most of the time he has hit in the 8th spot. You would think hitting in front of Longoria, he'd get a few more pitches to hit. He drills this one down the right side, but that hook's foul.
That's why I would move him up there. Use his speed. I mean, this guy can really, really run it. He's hitting left-handed, so if there is a runner on first base, he can yank that ball through the hole on the right side. He's not going to hit into a lot of double plays because he runs so well. And like you just said, in front of Longoria and some of the other power guys, he'll get his share of fastballs.
Cued off the end of the bat. Martin will watch it sail over the screen.
I always thought his talent was wasted hitting down in the order like that 8th.
Yeah, you get him on base and he will change the way pitchers pitch just because he's a threat to steal. Of course, he can go first to third with anybody
and score on an extra base hit easily.
1-2. Pulled foul outside of first. Logan Forsythe led off the game with an opposite field home run, his second career leadoff home run. Ground ball through the right side into right field. Mahle is going to stop at second. Bautista falls down. Now he flips the ball to Travis, and Mahle's going to move to third. Bautista caught his spike on the turf and fell down. He tried to flip the ball to Travis. Devin missed it, and that's going to be an error charged to Bautista.
I wanted to check to make sure that he was okay. Mahle, the lead runner, was not going to go first and third. Bautista comes in, and there's the spikes. They catch. He tries to flip it to Travis. He throws it away. That allows Mahle to move over to third base. You can see he's already stopped. He looks over his shoulder. Still wasn't going. Still wasn't going. So that ball got away from Travis.
One out, first and third, Evan Longoria. Bautista picks up his 5th error of the season. Two and 0 to Longoria. Longoria hit a bouncing ball up the middle off Estrada. Of course, these two know each other. They were teammates in college, as was Troy Tulowitzki. All three of them played at Long Beach State. Longoria hitting nearly 300 with runners in scoring position.
Some of Marco's best games have been against Tampa Bay. Electrifying games last year.
Last June, he took a perfect game into the 8th with one out. Logan Forsythe had a swinging bunt up the third baseline for the first hit, first base runner of the ball game. That game would end up 1-0 in 12 innings as Marco pitched 8 2/3 of 2-hit ball.
They were a little bit more aggressive last year. Tampa Bay swinging. Tonight they look a little bit more patient.
Longoria fouls it back.
It's almost like they're waiting for the changeup tonight.
We've only seen one team really accomplish that by looking for a changeup. That was the Mariners.
Yeah. Yeah, Mariners approach, and they've got a lot of veteran hitters over there. Cano and Cruz and Adam Lynn. They were all waiting for that changeup, just sitting on it. Marco started throwing more fastballs that day.
Even though the Mariners were looking for that changeup, 6 innings of 7-hit ball. He allowed just 2 runs, lost that game 2-1.
That's the most hits he had given up in a game since his second start of the season.
There goes Kiermaier. It's ball 4. That'll load the bases. Estrada did not walk a batter in his last start at Houston over 7 innings. Just the second time all season he did not issue a free pass. So the Rays threatening here in the top of the 3rd. Miller hit a soft liner over the shortstop's head, and Tulowitzki ran back into the outfield to make a nice running catch. That was in the 1st. Fouled off Martin's glove.
He's looking to hook a ball. And the Blue Jays have done a good job here keeping the ball away from him. A couple of fastballs make him reach for it. Looking to hook the ball in to right field.
Miller just 1 for 5 this season, hitting with the bases loaded. 0-2. Upstairs again. He wouldn't chase. It's always a challenge for Martin and Estrada. How many pitches do you throw upstairs before you go to the changeup?
Change up. He can do that here if he wants to.
There it is. What a beautiful pitch, down and away for a big strikeout. 4 strikeouts for Estrada so far.
And that fourth one comes at a great time. Bases loaded, just 1 out. They need an out without those runners advancing. This changeup was set up by that high fastball. 3 straight fastballs to Miller, and then he drops that changeup on him.
Mikey Matuk, the left fielder, he struck out on a changeup to end the first. I would be careful on the first pitch. I don't think he wants to get to a changeup situation.
No, he's going to be swinging.
He was swinging, and he pops it up. Smoke, the first baseman, gives way to Travis, who makes the catch. Estrada pitches out of a bases-loaded jam. Tampa Bay leaves the bases loaded. We head to the bottom of the third. Jays are down by 1.
To send you on the ultimate fan trip. Tweet how you celebrate Canada's team along with the hashtag Celebrate Blue Jays contest and @Blue Jays for a chance to watch the Blue Jays in Seattle. Visit bluejays.com/fan trip for details. Always a lot of fun when the Blue Jays visit Safeco Field in Seattle.
One of the best road trips of the season, to be able to go on a road trip and see the Blue Jays play in Seattle. And of course that will take place on September 19th, 20th, and 21st. This is Melvin Upton Jr. Upton really off to a tough start with the Blue Jays, batting .139. Hits this one in the air on the left side of the infield. The shortstop Tim Beckham calls for it. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He is a strong man. There's no question about that. He has hit some of the longest home runs all season long. Devin Travis flied up to right field his first time up. 1 away. We're in the bottom of the third. Bouncing ball. Nice play by Smiley. Takes his time. Throws a strike to first. 2 up, 2 down.
Drew Smiley looks like he's starting to get locked in. His cutter has been good. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, was telling me yesterday that he's been very aggressive on the mound, just filling up the strike zone with pitches. Not walking too many guys. His cutter's been good, his curveball's been good, and his fastball's been good. And he's been very aggressive with all 3 of them.
Two away for Jose Bautista. He doubled off the wall in left his first time up. Goes after the first pitch and pops this one over in front of the Blue Jays dugout. Longoria, the third baseman, comes down and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. Just 5 pitches for Drew Smyly, and here comes the ultimate cleanup crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough-on-grind cleaning products.
Everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in True HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Now we'll get you back to Buck Martinez and Todd Towler.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. A beautiful night here at Rogers Center. The Rays have a 1-0 lead. This will be Corey Dickerson leading things off. He tapped back to the mound his first time up. Dickerson's got some power, as Pat mentioned. 15 home runs, 45 RBIs, but just a .228 average. And you can see he's loading up on that back leg. He's trying to do some damage.
He is looking for something down and in, or in. Got a nice little toe hole in the box there.
Got to pitch him up, and they threw him a high fastball. Pretty good pitch. They didn't get the call on that fastball down. It's 3-1 to Dickerson. Dickerson has 54 career home runs. Steven Souza Jr. called out on strikes his first time up.
See that 89-mile-an-hour fastball by him. Now he might throw him the changeup. That's how you take the sting out of the bat of a big swinger like this.
Dickerson has homered against Stroman and Sanchez this season. That was on the first trip down to St. Pete. Late on that fastball.
Picked him up from Colorado for old Jay Nemesis, Jake McGee. Jake McGee was a great left-handed reliever for Tampa Bay. They shipped him over to Colorado. They said they wanted some more home runs, and they're getting it with Corey Dickerson.
Just off the plate, Martin tried to sell it to the umpire, but he wouldn't bite.
We've been there from the start. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays, proud fan since 1977.
Very comfortable evening with the roof open here at Rogers Center. Steven Souza Jr. called out on strikes. He was called out on a changeup that caught the outside corner his first time up. You can look for it, you can sit on it, you can anticipate it, but you can't hit it. That's the changeup.
Yeah. You can swing at it, and you're not going to hit it.
And then he throws you a fastball. 0-2. Estrada quickly ahead of Souza. You saw his numbers against the Blue Jays this season. He's hit them well, including 3 home runs. Have you ever seen a pitcher locate his changeup the way that Estrada does?
No, I was watching earlier this season. I'd see Russell give the changeup and then call for location. And I thought that was really strange because that usually doesn't happen. Pitcher just throws a changeup. So I asked him, I said, is he giving location on your changeup? He says, yes, I have the ability to throw it outside or inside. That is something.
What a weapon. Throws another changeup, and Souza strikes out, this time swinging. They are frustrating at bats against Marco Estrada.
Especially big swingers, guys who are home run type of hitters. You want that ball to get there, and it's there, and then it's gone. Here's the changeup. You can see it about halfway. It looks like a fastball. You start your swing, and look where it ends up. Down in the dirt.
One out for Tim Beckham, the shortstop. There's a fastball strike. You know, we talk about the great season Estrada has put together, but when you look at his career numbers, he's been fairly consistent. He made his debut in 2008, and since then he has a career opponent's batting average of .226. To give you an idea where that stands in the major leagues, that's the 5th best among major league pitchers since 2008.
And there are some pitchers on that list. I mean, big time household names.
Kershaw, Arrieta, Sale, and Strasburg, the only pitchers that are pitching with a better opponent's batting average than Marco Estrada.
You know, I watch him, and I've watched him now for a couple of years, 20 starts this year. And as a former hitter, I'm always saying, okay, is there something he's doing that's going to give away his changeup because it's so good? And I keep looking, and I never find anything because he's set a little bit higher. He does everything the same. Every pitch comes out of the same arm slot.
That ball is hit to right. Bautista calls for it, and Upton pulls out of the way. Jose makes the catch in the alley in right center.
And that's the hard thing to do when you're trying to hit, when you've got a guy with 4 different pitches and all the pitches look the same and he's not tipping anything.
Marco has worked hard at his craft, and this year he made his first All-Star team. Luke Maile, the catcher, singled to lead off the 3rd. He was stranded at 3rd as the Rays left the bases loaded in the 3rd. Two 2-0 as Estrada falls behind the number 9 hitter. Maile checked his swing. They appealed to first, and first base umpire said no swing. Clint Fagan down at first.
Got to retire this guy. He's hitting 9th.
Yeah, and the next guy has worn out the Blue Jays all season long. Logan Forsythe has homered for the only run of this game. 4-pitch walk to the number 9 hitter. That's 3 walks issued by Estrada. And that'll bring Forsythe to the plate with 2 outs. Now you got to do something different to force that. He hit a ball out of the ballpark to right, maybe a first pitch curveball. Something to get him back on his heels a bit.
Yeah, he's a smart hitter. And if you fall into a pattern, he's going to pick it up.
First pitch changeup down and away. Boy, he can spot that fastball.
That ball looked like it had a little cut on it, and he put it on the corner. The whole thought was 1-0, he might be swinging. And maybe you can get it off the barrel. You got to be on your toes right now.
Base hit up the middle. No, Travis makes a terrific play and then drops it. Now their base runner's coming for home, and he dropped it again. Travis went to pick it up after he lost the ball on the throw, and when he went to grab it initially, he dropped it. He had a shot at Dickerson, but then he dropped it, and that allowed Dickerson to come in to score.
You know, Devin's done that a couple of times over the last week or so, and I asked him about that. He said, I got to slow down. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm trying to be a little bit too quick. He looked a little undecided if he wanted to flip that ball to Tulowitzki or go to first base. It's off the mound, and then he dropped it on the throw, and then here's where he made the big mistake. He reached, didn't get it, and then reached again, and by that time Dickerson can score from third base. He had already stopped.
2 outs, a run in, 2-0 Tampa Bay. That should be a base hit for Forsythe. And the error charged to Travis when he dropped the ball that allowed Dickerson to come in to score from third. That'll be the 4th error of the season charged to Travis. No RBI on the play.
If he comes up cleanly, the first time where he reached down with the ball on the ground, I think he gets Dickerson at the plate. But he dropped it, and then still it was a close play at the plate.
Kevin Kiermaier.
That's just getting ahead of yourself, just a little bit too quick. Instead of just slowing things down and catching the ball and making a good throw. More time. See, he's got the ball, it just pops right out of his hand, just falls down out of the hand, and then when he goes to reach for it, dropped it again.
2-2 pitch outside. Now it's a full count. Runners at first and second. They'll be off on the pitch. There are 2 outs. A run in here this inning. The leadoff walk has come around to score. The Rays have scored a run on 2 walks, an infield hit, and an error. There's a fly ball to right. Bautista's got a bead on it. He's there and makes the catch. Kiermaier flies out to end the inning. The Tampa Bay takes advantage of some shaky defense for the Jays. It'll be Josh Donaldson leading things off, then Edwin Encarnacion and Russell Martin. Middle of the order for the Jays. Donaldson will lead things off for the Blue Jays, and when he's going, the Blue Jays are going. Look at the Blue Jays record. When Josh hits, they win. When he hits .350, they win the games. In losses, he's hit just .211. He's only hit 4 home runs in the losses, and Josh Donaldson makes things happen for this ball club. Look at the OPS and the difference.
Well, a big part of that is hitting with runners in scoring position. He's hitting third tonight, so you know there's going to be some opportunities to drive in some runs. And as Josh goes, the Blue Jays go. I wish it was that easy, you know, that the one guy. That's not true with this team. This team has hitters up and down that lineup.
Ball on a strike to Donaldson. Josh took a walk his first time up. The only walk that Smiley has issued.
They got to figure out Smiley now. Down by a couple of runs.
Donaldson's the last Blue Jay to reach. He's retired 8 in a row. Upstairs. Smiley understands that this is a dangerous part of the lineup. And the bringer of rain has done it again. He's bringing rain. How about that?
You might bring their umbrella.
This has popped up. Souza, the right fielder, calls for it and makes the catch. 1 away. A very light drizzle here. You can see they haven't moved the roof at all, and when it started it was just a drizzle, and the fans using whatever method they can to keep the rain off them. I was at Rogers Center and got rained on.
Is that first game? Didn't it rain the first game they played here?
Yeah, it rained, and they had a streak of rain going across home plate. So they're closing the roof. Ball and a strike to Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin is the DH tonight. Ground ball. Beckham. Across the diamond to Miller. 2 away.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Donaldson and Encarnacion retired quickly. 10 straight. Set down by Drew Smiley. Well, that's a high strike.
Russell just checking in with the home plate umpire on that one.
Two and one now to the Blue Jays catcher Russell Martin. Martin is 0 for 8 against Drew Smiley. That reflects the fact that Blue Jays have had their problems with left-handed starters this season.
That is a shocker. Because I say that because they were so good against lefties last year. #1 in baseball. Batting average, runs scored, everything. They've got basically the same lineup full of righties.
Martin fouls it out of play. It's a full count. Last year they hit .278 against the left-handed starters. Martin gets jammed. Miller will toss to Smiley covering the bag, and he has a quick inning. 11 in a row retired by the Rays lefty. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Lasted about as long as the Blue Jays in the bottom of the fourth inning, so it is now a lovely night to be sitting in those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone, and we welcome guests of TD. And meanwhile, we want to tell you that never say staycation again, and find the WestJet Fan Wagon in Toronto, and you could be the next to follow WestJet Fan Wagon on Twitter for details, and you can watch a game with these folks in the WestJet flight deck.
There's the TD Comfort Zone, two of the most valued locations in this ballpark, the Comfort Zone and the TD Flight Deck, and that has become the destination for the young fans here at Frederickson. Well, we go to the fifth. Blue Jays trail 2-0. It'll be Longoria, Miller, and Mikey Matuk. It's a high fly ball to left. Michael Saunders backing up well in front of the warning track. Longoria's retired on one pitch. Marco Estrada has been so consistent that whenever he's trailing, everybody's going, what's wrong with Marco? Well, 2 runs on 5 hits. That'll win you a lot of games.
Really, the only ball that they hit hard was the home run by Forsythe. Everything else has been soft contact and some walks. The fielding hasn't helped him out at all.
Now, Blue Jays have kicked it around a little bit. Second run of the ball game scored on the Devin Travis error. Bautista committed an error in the third inning, but that didn't factor into the scoring. Miller late on that fastball. 0-2.
You know, the biggest thing that is a shocker for me as we play in the fifth inning is the pitch count for Marco Estrada. And that last pitch was number 90 already in the fifth inning, and the Blue Jays have been pretty consistent, right around 100 pitches. John Gibbons has gone to the bullpen.
Curveball, one of the few curveballs he's thrown tonight. Marco has walked 3 and he struck out 5. That will elevate your pitch count early on.
And there have been some long at bats where outs have been made. Not a lot of single-digit pitch innings for Estrada. So Pete Walker, you can see him, he's trying to figure out who's next in line.
Estrada has not thrown 100 pitches coming into this game in his last 6 starts. Last time he threw 100 pitches was back on the 15th of June. 104 pitches. So he's been very efficient. That was a cutter fouled into the glove and out of the glove of Russell Martin.
Yeah, high cutter right there. This is an aggressive hitter in Miller. You can see Pete, I think he's made his decision who they want, and there's some stirring going on down in that bullpen.
Line drive down the right field corner. Miller is turning around first. He'll go to second. Here's the throw from Bautista, and another double for Miller. His third double of this series.
And he has picked on that right field line, hasn't he, these first 2 games? And like I said, his last at bat, he likes to get up there and hook the ball to right field. He gets a high changeup right here from Estrada and just hooks it right over Smoke's head. Down the right field line, nothing that Bautista can do to get him at second. He runs too well, so a runner in scoring position, and there's the man that they chose.
Danny Barnes, the rookie right-hander, loosening up for the Blue Jays. Estrada has now thrown 94 pitches with 1 out here in the 5th. Mikey Matuk, the left fielder, he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. He popped out on the first pitch back in the 3rd with the bases loaded. That was the pitch he popped out on.
And I think Marco knew that, and he said, here's a fastball. You've done that before, right? Where you pop up on the first pitch, your next at bat, and you're like, I'm not swinging at the first pitch again.
Exactly. And the catcher comes right back with the same pitch.
Right down the middle. You're afraid to make an out.
There you go, thinking again.
Right.
I hate when that happens. 0-2, 1 out. Blue Jays already down by 2. Changeup gets away from Martin, and Miller's going to move up. There'll be a wild pitch charged to Estrada.
And that'll probably bring the infield in now as Miller moves up to third base. There's John Gibbons giving directions where he wants. He's pointing to home plate, saying that's where we got to cut the run off. Changeup. This time he spikes it in the dirt. Russell gets down there. That one looked like it might have got his throwing hand.
1-2. Miller now at third. Hit him. That fastball up and in, and Estrada hits Matuk.
Boy, you could see that coming, couldn't you? He wanted to surprise him by throwing a fastball, and he just went a little bit too fast, a little bit too quick, and the arm couldn't catch up. You can see him shaking his head. He knows it. He wanted to surprise him, four-seam fastball, went a little bit too quick. When the arm can't catch up, it's going to go up and away or up and in to righties. And he hits him on the arm.
Corey Dickerson walked his last time up. He's 0 for 1. He scored a run in the 4th inning. Blue Jays back up into double play depth. Pretty good pitch, and Estrada didn't get the call. Russell Martin saw it as a strike. Fly ball, shallow center field. Miller tagging up. Upton is there. He'll throw it, and the throw will be cut off as it was just a pop-up in shallow center. So Dickerson pops out.
Well, that's a big out right there. High pop-up. Just couldn't get it out there far enough. Not out of the woods just yet. Still got some power coming up to the plate.
Steven Souza Jr. has struck out both times he's faced Estrada so far. He was called out on strikes in the 2nd, had a swinging strikeout in the 4th. Time called at home. Souza has now struck out 120 times. Little flare into right, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Miller's in to score. Matuk goes to third as Souza flares one into right for an RBI single with 2 outs here in the 5th.
Still a dangerous bat. Yeah, he has struck out 120 times, but he got some power. That time he just fought off that first pitch. Got it off of him and got it out into the outfield. This has been happening against the Blue Jays too much lately.
Little flares and jam jobs dropping in for base hits. We saw it in Kansas City. Seeing eye base hits.
Big
Miller
hits.
comes in to score.
2 out RBI hits. Just like that one.
Tim Beckham, the shortstop. Estrada now over 100 pitches. They got him picked off at first. Smoked the first baseman. Now they'll go to third, and the throw is late. So Souza ends up at second. Martin came up and threw to Smoke. They had Souza hung up between first and second. Matuk came down the third base line, but the throw from Smoke was offline.
Where they had him hung out to dry at first base. The only thing you can really do right here, there's the blooper by Souza that falls in. The only thing you can do is get the ball to your shortstop right away. You know, and you got a runner hung up between first and second and a runner at third base. You want that first baseman, if you're the Tampa Bay Rays, handling that ball.
3-0 Tampa Bay. Runners at second and third. Now it's a 3-0 count to Beckham.
The reason you want that first baseman handling the ball is his back basically is to home plate. When he is running that runner between first and second, get that ball to the shortstop, let him make the play.
Beckham swinging on a 3-0 pitch, hits it high and deep and foul. Just foul, had the distance, but
I think they're going to look at this one. Partner
Kevin Cash, he's out onto the warning track. He's asked the home plate umpire to give him a minute. They're going to look at the replay.
He's got maybe the best seat in the house right there, looking right down that third base line. So do we.
Boy, it just missed, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He hit it into the second deck.
They are still going to look at this one. I think the question is, did it just graze the foul pole? That's the bench coach Tom Foley saying, I'm not sure. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't.
They're going to ask the umpire to take a look at it. If it did, it just brushed that netting that serves as the foul indicator down the line. Take a look at the ball once again. Looked like it hit the netting.
That it might have just grazed it. Personally, I don't know if there's enough evidence to say I didn't see it really move. I don't know if there's enough evidence to overturn what the umpire
certainly
saw.
Didn't change directions. I think that's another thing we'll see down the road in baseball. Electrified foul poles. On contact, they light up.
They light up.
It is a foul, and that replay review is powered by Samsung. So there was not enough evidence to indicate enough to turn that call over. So it's a long foul ball. It's now a 3-1 count on Beckham.
Going for broke. Taking their chances. 3-0 count. Got 5 home runs and 151 at bats. Turn them loose.
Pops this one over the Rays dugout, out of play. Let's go back and look at the Russell Martin play where they had Souza picked off first.
There he is right there. He was expecting that ball in the dirt. And really, there's not much that Justin Smoke can do except get rid of it and get it to one of those middle infielders. He elects to go across the diamond, and that gives Mahtook a chance to get back to third.
Three-two pitch. Ball four. That'll load the bases. Luke Maile, the number 9 hitter, is his scheduled batter. Danny Barnes is loose down in the Blue Jays bullpen. I'm sure what John Gibbons is thinking here, just trying to allow Estrada to get out of the inning and give him the possibility of having his offense come back and score 3 runs, maybe even 4. The Rays left the bases loaded in the 3rd. Blue Jays are down 3-0. They've been out hit 7-1 so far in this game. Estrada has walked 4.
Well, he hasn't been able to throw a strike to Maile. He's given up a base hit and then walked him on 4 pitches last inning, and he's fallen behind here.
6th time this season and Estrada has walked 4 batters in a game. That's the season high. 2-1 now. Certainly the Blue Jays have enough offense to come back from a 3-run deficit. And Estrada would love to be able to strand the bases loaded for a 2nd time.
Strand him right here. He's up to 110 pitches now. That just below his season high of 118.
Pop back over the screen. It's 2-2.
Well, if you're ever going to throw the pitch, this is it right here. Don't want to go to 3-2. Don't want to give those runners a chance to take off. This is the pitch right here you want to get them out with.
Just off the plate outside. It's a full count. Now the runners indeed will have a running start.
How about the patience that the Tampa Bay Rays have thrown at Marco tonight?
Marky Mahtook was hit by a pitch. He's at third. Steven Souza Jr. had a bloop RBI single. Beckham walked. Bases loaded. There they go. Cut on and struck out is Maile. Estrada for a 2nd time in this game has stranded the bases loaded. Blue Jays are down by 3. Troy Tulowitzki will lead things off when we come back.
Blue Jays, the Sportsnet app is a must-have. It lets you stay up to date with the latest scores, breaking news, game highlights, and analysis from Canada's team. You can even stream the Blue Jays live on the go. Download the free Sportsnet app today. Guys, as former players, when you go into the dugout after an inning like that and you find that you're only down 3-0, does it give you guys a little bit of a shot to say, hey, we're still very much in this ballgame now?
Yeah, it sure does. And the last thing you'll hear in the dugout is, hey, Marco's done his job now. We got to get some hits. No runs and 1 hit off Drew Smyly, who came into this game with a 3-11 record. Blue Jays got to get some offense going.
Time for that bloop and blast right here. That'll get a couple of runs back quick.
There's a drive down the left field line. That's a start. Tulowitzki hammers the curveball for a leadoff single. That snaps a streak of 11 in a row retired by Smyly.
Why wait around? You see the curveball. Look at the head right down on that ball. He recognized that curveball right out in front. Rips it into left field. There's the base hit. Now Michael Saunders, who's had good numbers against Drew Smyly this year.
Saunders hit his first home run of the season against Smyly back on the 4th of April in St. Petersburg. And then he took him deep again, his 3rd home run of the season. And there's a base hit. Back-to-back base hits to start the 5th. So Marco Estrada stranding the bases loaded in the top half of the inning has inspired the offense. They have back-to-back hits to start the 5th.
And I love the aggressive approach here. Troy Tulowitzki hits the first pitch he sees, and then Michael Saunders hits the first pitch he sees into right field. Now the Blue Jays have got to get Smokin Upton moving right here.
Justin Smoke hit a line drive right at the left fielder. That ended the 2nd. He hit it hard, but right to the left fielder. You got to believe that they're going to be very cognizant of this first pitch.
Yeah, 2 pitches and 2 runners on base. I also want to make sure that everybody knows what sign that they are using. Tim Beckham, the shortstop, has come in, along with the catcher, Maley.
Smoke against left-handed pitching, batting .229. He has a couple of doubles and a couple of home runs against the lefties. Tulowitzki at second, Saunders at first. There's that first pitch in the dirt. They weren't going to throw 3 in a row.
Being very careful.
The Blue Jays want to get into that Rays bullpen. That's really been the soft underbelly of this ball club this year. And that was the difference in the game last night. Once they got into that bullpen, they broke it wide open. Two and 0. Jim Hickey, the longtime pitching coach of the Rays. It's been a frustrating season for the bullpen, but the starters have been great since the All-Star break.
Yes, they have. They have kept them in every game since the All-Star break.
3-0. The former Ray, Melvin Upton Jr., is on deck. For pitch walk, that'll load the bases, nobody out. So Upton, who spent 8 seasons with the Rays, played 966 games in a Tampa Bay uniform, gets a chance to get the Blue Jays right back in this game. Upton, for his career, a .248 batter against lefty pitching, .243 against righty. Just about the same.
Just about the same. And be ready for that first pitch after a 4-pitch walk.
Upstairs.
He was ready.
You got to get a strike. Smiley working out of the windup. Fly ball to right. It's deep. Souza can't find it. Now he's got it. He's got a strong arm. He's going to third. The ball is cut off, and the Blue Jays are on the board. Tulowitzki comes in to score as Upton picks up his first RBI as a Blue Jay.
Boy, that could have turned out nice for the Blue Jays. That ball went up into the twilight, and Steven Souza, the right fielder, momentarily threw his arms up like, I don't have it, I don't see it. Got above the lights, and then he picked it up, and it was deep enough to score the run and get that other runner over to third base. And Upton saying, I just missed it.
Saunders did a good job of tagging and advancing to third. Now it's runners at the corners, one out for Devin Travis, who's gone 0 for 2 so far. 3-1 ball game. Travis going after the first pitch. Devin had a game-winning RBI in the game last night. He drove in the 5th Blue Jay run, and then right behind him on the next pitch, Jose Bautista drove in 2 more.
He's been swinging it. 11 multi-hit games over his last 20. Hitting the ball all over the field.
I'm a little surprised where Forsythe is playing Travis. He's a little bit to the full side of second. And Devin, he is a notorious right field hitter. There's a big gap between Miller at first and Forsythe in his position at second.
Probably just feeling comfortable on a ground ball to the left side. But you're right, there's a nice hole to shoot for if you want to on the right side of the infield.
There it is. Base hit for Travis. Saunders in the score. It's a 3-2 ball game.
Right man at the plate for the Blue Jays. Runner on third base, less than 2 outs. He's got that right field stroke down. He was waiting. You can see that. He was waiting at the plate. So he wasn't going to strike out. He was taking his time. He was really letting that ball travel. His first pitch, he was late on a fastball. This looks like a changeup, something down and away, and he keeps his head right down and shoots that ball to right field.
That base hit extends the hit streak for Travis to 6 straight. Frustrating inning for Drew Smiley. Back-to-back singles, then the walk. Loaded the bases. 3-2 ball game. Jose Bautista.
He hit the first pitch he saw last night for that 2-run hit. He was waiting for that first one there.
Bautista just missed a home run in his first at bat back in the first. Hit it off the top of the wall, then deep left center. Inside, a ball on the strike. Marco Estrada, over 100 pitches through 5 innings. Ground ball. Forsythe at second to Beckham. Back to first. Double play. Beckham coming across the bag. Kicked at the bag just in time to complete the double play. Bautista grounds into the inning-ending double play. But the Blue Jays have closed the gap. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Danny Barnes into the game for Toronto. Estrada, the starter tonight, is out of the ballgame. He goes 5 innings, charged with 3 runs, just 2 earned runs, 7 hits. He walked 4. That ties his season high, and he struck out 6. His ERA still under 3 at 2.95. Estrada to 113 pitches. That's just 5 shy of his season high.
So he is out of the ball game. After those 113 pitches, Danny Barnes for the 3rd time gets to start the 6th inning. 3 innings for Barnes. Some big innings on the road. That road trip that the Blue Jays just finished up. 4 strikeouts, no walks for Barnes. That has been the MO on the young right-hander, that he throws a lot of strikes.
Danny Barnes is 26 years old. He's from Manhasset, New York on Long Island. He went to Princeton University. He throws strikes, and there's strike 1. This is Logan Forsythe. He's 2 for 3 already tonight. He's got 14 hits against the Blue Jays this season.
Show him something a little bit different. Never faced Barnes before. Fastball, changeup. He likes to change the eye plate of those hitters with high fastballs and then use that changeup to go down. And it's a good one. It's a good changeup. A lot of running action on it.
Slider away. Barnes pitched in the Ivy League, as we mentioned. He pitched at Princeton. High fastball, strikeout, 1 down.
A lot of things have changed, but one thing hasn't. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays, proud fan since 1977.
Kevin Kiermaier, the number 2 hitter in this Rays lineup. He's singled to right field in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3. Well, that's a good changeup. A lot of late movement. A different changeup than Marco Estrada.
A little bit different than Marco's. Marco's is more of a 4-seam type of changeup. He just takes the spin off of it, or excuse me, the movement. Just spins it in there like a fastball. Just takes a little something off of it. His changeup, he rolls it off of his fingers like a circle change. It rolls off that pinky finger, and he gets a lot of movement down and away to the lefties.
Got underneath that pitch, and it's up and away for a 2-2 count. Blue Jays just saw another pitcher that pitched at Princeton, Chris Young. He was in Kansas City, now working out of the bullpen. Change up. Ball 3. It's a full count. Evan Longoria is on deck. He's 1 for 2 with a walk so far in this ball game. We are in the 6th inning. It's a 3-2 Tampa lead. That ball gets away from Martin. He better find it. Kiermaier heads to first. Russell couldn't locate it. Kiermaier's got great speed. A 1-out walk. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Benintendi, playing for the first time at Fenway Park, is 2 for 2 with an RBI, and he scored a pair of runs. He's playing in left field tonight. Longoria goes after the first pitch.
That young man can hit. Didn't spend a whole lot of time in the minor leagues.
Boston has really hit the mother lode with young talent lately. Kevin Pillar on the disabled list. You can see he wears that brace on his left thumb. Injured that Saturday in Kansas City. Longoria drives this one to the gap in center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall, and Kiermaier is going to score easily. Kevin Kiermaier breezes around the bases and comes in with the 4th Rays run as Longoria hits a double to the wall in center.
Boy, there's nothing prettier to watch than a guy at first base scoring on a triple. He got a head of steam after this double by Longoria. Watch him come charging around third base and like a football player, grab that helmet like it's a football and cross the goal line. There's nothing prettier than a guy score from first base on an extra base hit. And watch him. Look at him. Pick him up, put him down, grabs the ball. It's like a football score.
Now that one-out walk cashed in immediately by Longoria. And the Rays get one of those runs back. It's 4-2 Tampa Bay. RBI number 62 for Longoria. That's the first run allowed by Barnes. Upstairs.
Arco struck out Miller on a fastball down and away, excuse me, a changeup down and away after a fastball that was up, just like that pitch. We might see that right here as changeup.
Two and two now to the first baseman, Brad Miller. Miller doubled and scored in the fifth. That's his third double in this series. With Longoria's double, the Rays have now hit 8 doubles in this series, first 2 games. Second walk issued by Barnes. He walked Kevin Kiermaier, and Longoria knocked him in, and that's nothing new for Longoria. See, the RBIs against the Blue Jays since 2008. David Ortiz and Evan Longoria are tied with 91 ribbies, and you see that pair of Orioles. They too have always worn out the Blue Jays. Davis has 81, Jones has 80.
That's a familiar sight, isn't it? Longoria driving in runs for his career versus the Blue Jays. Evan Longoria has hit 21 home runs and picked up those 91 RBIs. He's done that in 144 games. So almost a full season against the Blue Jays.
Evan Longoria came in the big leagues in 2008. He was the Rookie of the Year in the American League for Tampa Bay. This is his 9th season. Scott Feldman, the big right-hander, loosening up. 1 out. There's another base hit into center. Upton takes it on a hop. He's going to come home, and here's the throw. It's cut off. Mikey Matuk drives in the 5th Rays run of the night as he singles to center. Danny Barnes has given up 2 hits and 2 walks.
Evan Longoria had a good read on that ball. Line drive. You got to pick up the outfield when you're at second base. You can see he recognized that that ball is going to fall in, and no chance to get him at the plate. So the Blue Jays score 2 runs in the bottom of the inning. The Rays come right back and get those 2 runs back on the board. That's a 3-run lead again.
Miller at second now. Matuk at first, and there's a ground ball off the bat of Dickerson. Travis to Tulowitzki. Back to first in time. That'll end the inning, but Tampa Bay comes right back. They get those 2 runs back. They have regained their 3-run lead. The Rays lead at 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th.
some guests of TD who are sitting in those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone on what has become a beautiful night here at the ballpark, and remind fans to join the TD Comfort Zone contest. We want you to show your Blue Jays spirit by entering the contest by posting a video or photo of you tagging at Blue Jays and including the hashtag TD Tuesday on Twitter or Instagram for a chance to win. Full contest rules are available at bluejays.com/comfort zone. Well, the Blue Jays need to get themselves back to work here in the bottom of the sixth. We will now send you back to Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler.
Thank you very much, Barry, as the Blue Jays bat in the bottom of the sixth. They scored 2 runs to get on the board in the bottom of the fifth, but Tampa Bay stormed right back with 2 of their own in the top half of the sixth. Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Martin. They were retired in order in the fourth by Drew Smyly.
Time to go back to work. You could feel that momentum starting to shift.
Donaldson drives this one into right. Souza cuts it off. Josh with a leadoff single.
And maybe with that single, that'll start to move that momentum, go back over into the Blue Jays dugout. How about this approach by Josh Donaldson? Pitch down the way. You watch how he turns over that fastball, and Josh stays right with it. Smyly is hoping that the right-handed batters would roll over on that pitch, but that's twice now that we have seen right-handed batters by the Blue Jays take that ball the other way. That's a good piece of hitting right there.
Devin Travis did it for an RBI single in the fifth. 299 home runs. Edwin Encarnacion at the plate. Base hit to left. It's not a homer, but the Blue Jays do it again, just like last inning. First 2 get base hits. Donaldson and Encarnacion.
Those were on the first 2 pitches of the 5th inning. Blue Jays get the first 2 on right here. Encarnacion plate coverage once again. It looked like he jammed himself on that one. But gets it into the outfield. Good start for the Jays.
Six hits, 5 singles for the Blue Jays. Bautista with the only extra base hit so far. Russell Martin is 0 for 2. Martin grounded out to the first baseman back in the 4th. That was a string of 11 straight retired by Smyly. One and one. Tampa Bay owns the season series so far, 6 games to 5. Mark lays out that changeup. Blue Jays haven't chased that changeup very often tonight.
He's only had 1 strikeout. Because of that, they've put a lot of balls in play. Had their share of hits. Like you said, 6 hits through 5 innings. We're in the 6th. They haven't chased it. Now, keep that approach. Even though you're ahead of the count right here, stay with that same approach. He's going to want to nibble.
3-1. Still no activity in the Rays bullpen. Now they're starting to stir a bit. Erasmo Ramirez will be the first up for Tampa Bay. 3-1 to Martin.
Turn the ball over. He's been doing that against the righties, and they've started to hit the ball the other way.
Blue Jays trying to rally back here in the 6th. They trail by 3. Josh Donaldson got it started with a single to right. Edwin Encarnacion single to left, right behind him. Now Russell Martin with a full count, nobody up. Troy Tulowitzki is on deck. Just foul outside the bag at third. Longoria was shaded near the foul line. Had that been fair, he probably would have got it.
He was anticipating it. Look how he is leaning that way. He's got a quick first step. Third baseman will get signs from the shortstop, especially with a lefty on the mound. If there's going to be an off-speed pitch to a right-handed batter or a pitch on the inside, he'll give him a little verbal sign to let him know it's coming. Ball four.
Got to load the bases, and there's nobody out.
The exact same thing happened last inning. Single walk to start the inning for the Blue Jays. They only got 2, but it could have been a lot more. There was a sac fly and a double play grounder.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Big meeting on the mound as Jim Hickey has come out to try to help Drew Smiley work his way out of this tough situation. The bases are loaded. No outs. Troy Tulowitzki singled and scored his last time up. Tulo has got 2 career grand slams. Kevin Jepson on the right of your screen has joined Ramirez. Tulo pops up the first pitch. The infield fly rule is in effect. Miller makes the catch. One down. Michael Saunders singled his last time up. Smiley's pitch count still in good shape. He's only thrown 74 pitches.
Yeah, it's in great shape.
Saunders fouls off the first pitch.
Blue Jays need a big hit. Like I said last inning, they had 3 singles, a walk, and a sacrifice fly, and scored just 2 runs. Now they've had 2 singles, a walk. They need a big hit here. Something up the alley here, right center field.
Smiley steps off. He wants a new sign from the catcher, Luke Maile. In the dirt, blocked by the catcher. Saunders is 1 for 2 tonight. He is 4 for 10 against Drew Smiley with a pair of home runs. He had 2 home runs against Smiley this season down in St. Petersburg. 1 home run in each of the first 2 series against Smiley. Blue Jays were in St. Pete twice in April. Two singles and a walk to start the inning. Then Tulowitzki popped out on the first pitch. That's going to slice down the left field line, out of play.
That's where they're playing Michael Saunders. They don't think he's going to get around on that fastball. The outfield playing deep too. So if you're one of the base runners for the Blue Jays, pick up on that. If you're Edwin out at second base, you can score on a single. If you're Russell at first base, you can go first to third on a ball into the outfield. It's a little cat and mouse game going on between Saunders and Smiley, isn't it? Who's going to wait out who? There you go. Michael was waiting too long, and here comes Luke Maile one more time.
Obviously a very important at-bat in this ball game. And Saunders has hit well against Smiley, so the left-handed pitcher has a pretty good idea what he wants to do. Wants to try something different.
Yeah, he has a certain pitch that he has on his mind. Maile never got to it.
Slow off-speed pitch, and Saunders strikes out. Just the second strikeout for Smiley, but it comes at a big time for Tampa Bay.
Big time. He had 10 strikeouts in his last game, his fourth double-digit strikeout game of the season, and this is, like you said, just the second, but it's a good time to throw that curveball. Bounces it in the dirt. Told his catcher, I'm going to throw a curveball and I'm going to keep it low. You block it. And he comes up with a big strikeout.
First baseman Justin Smoak has lined out and walked. Smoak walked to load the bases in the fifth. Good swing. Had a pretty good pitch to hit. Tampa Bay leads it 5-2. Smoak has a career grand slam.
That was in New York last year, wasn't it? The difference in that big win against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. How about another one? You got another one in you?
High fastball. The Blue Jays have hit 2 grand slams this season. Josh Donaldson has hit them both. Right now the Blue Jays need a base hit. 1 and 2, 2 outs. Popped up. Maile, the catcher, has room. He's in foul ground, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays leave the bases loaded in their half of the 6th. We'll go to the 7th. 5-2 Tampa Bay.
Fans, join us on August the 12th for our next Friday Fan Festival presented by Bacardi. This one is a DJ showcase featuring Jed Harper, DJ Deluxe, and your boy Brian. The patio will open up at 4:30, and then it's Blue Jays baseball as they take on the Houston Astros. Go to bluejays.com for tickets. We go to the 7th inning. It's now back to Buck and Pat.
Thank you, Barry. As we move to the 7th inning, new pitcher for the Blue Jays will be Scott Feldman, making his 30th appearance of the season.
Scott last worked 2 days ago in Kansas City. Came in the 6th inning, had a 1-2-3 6th inning. That was so easy. They sent him back out there for the 7th inning. He gave up 3 hits, had a strikeout, came out of the game, and then was charged for 3 runs after the grand slam home run by Kendrys Morales. Those were his runs. Well, that inflated the ERA just a little bit, but what a welcome addition to the bullpen for the Blue Jays. A veteran swingman. He can give you multiple innings. He can start games if you need to. Pitching out of the bullpen this year, his ERA is just over 3.
Bottom third of the Rays lineup: Steven Souza, Tim Beckham, and Luke Maile. Souza had an RBI single in the 5th. He just flared one into right to drive home Brad Miller.
That's the cutter right there that Feldman can use. His fastball, he throws it a lot to the right-handers, just off the plate, trying to get them to swing at it or hit it off the end of the bat.
Good moving fastball there. It's 1-2 to Souza. Curveball, he hung it, and Souza jumped all over it. Base hit to left field to start the top of the 7th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Tampa Bay got a leadoff home run from Logan Forsythe. They scored single runs in the 4th and 5th. Blue Jays scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Tampa Bay came back and scored 2 more in the top half of the 6th. They lead it 5-2. Tim Beckham 0 for 2 with a walk.
They've had some tough at-bats tonight. Took some close pitches. They've had 10 hits. They've also left 10 runners on base.
Tampa Bay 3 for 9 batting with runners in scoring position. Last night they were 3 for 14. And they lost that game 7-5. Souza broke off the bag at first as if he was thinking about running.
He's got 5 stolen bases this year. They could hit and run here. They've been pretty aggressive the first 2 games of this series. Try to make something happen.
Not going. Cut on and missed by Beckham. 2-2 now to the Rays shortstop. Scott Feldman is 33 years old. He was born in Hawaii. Grew up in California. Beckham strikes out. The Baltimore Orioles will send Wade Miley to the mound out in Oakland against Zach Neal, a right-hander. And at the start of play tonight, the Blue Jays and Orioles tied atop the AL East. Boston They're leading the Yankees tonight, top of the 7-5-2 at Fenway. They are 2.5 games back. The Yankees a game over 500, but they trail by 7. And Tampa Bay bringing up the rear.
Boston just finished a West Coast trip. And now Baltimore's out there. Blue Jays have been to the West Coast twice now already.
Blue Jays will go back out there in September to play the Angels and the Mariners.
And they got one more trip out there.
Baltimore stays in the Bay Area after this Oakland series, and they'll play the Giants over the weekend. Ground ball past Tulowitzki in the left field. Luke Maile has his second hit of the night. He's 2 for 3.
He's been on base 3 times, sandwiched around a K. This one just out of the reach of Tulowitzki on the dive.
Martin now with a quick visit to the mound. First and second one up. Top of the order, Logan Forsythe. 2 more hits tonight against the Blue Jays. He's 2 for 4 with a home run.
Does this guy come up every inning? Seems like it, doesn't it? This is his 5th at bat.
In the 7th inning. The Rays have 11 hits. That'll turn the lineup over.
You also mentioned the walks. There's been 6 walks tonight by the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays turned a double play to end the 6th. They could use another one right here.
How about an Adam ball? They haven't had many of those in the first 2 games where they've hit it right at somebody.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 now to the leadoff man, Logan Forsythe. Top of the 7th. Scott Feldman, the 3rd Blue Jay pitcher to work tonight. Marco Estrada went 5 innings. He gives up 3 runs, just 2 earned runs on 7 hits. Danny Barnes in his 3rd big league game gives up 2 runs on 2 hits. Base hit to right. Bautista over to cut it off as Souza is around third. He comes in to score. It's 6-2 Tampa Bay. Another RBI for Forsythe and another 3-hit game.
Another 3-hit game. Home run, infield hit, and then an RBI single to right field. 2-strike approach. Shoots it through the hole on the right side. 3 more hits this inning. How about this approach with 2 strikes? Stay back, shoot the ball the other way. There's a big hole on the right side of the infield. And he goes for it and comes up with an RBI single.
That's a fair ball. Kevin Kiermaier hooks it inside the bag at first. Maile's around third. He's going to score. Forsythe stops at second, and Kiermaier with his 2nd hit of the game, another double for Tampa Bay.
They have worn out that right field line and that right field corner in just 2 games. Kiermaier snapped an 0 for 17 last night with a double. He's going to pick on the right field line again. He's been on base 3 times. He's not waiting around. First pitch swinging, hits it right over the bag. And with his great speed, he can make it easily into second base. 7-2.
7-2. Tampa Bay now with 13 hits. The infield has come in. Evan Longoria bats with just 1 out. Longoria had an RBI double in the 6th. Curveball bounced foul. Feldman now has been charged with 2 runs on 4 hits. He's retired just 1 batter. He struck out Tim Beckham. There's a base hit to center. Upton's coming up throwing. Here's the throw to the plate. Force and Kiermaier both score 2 more runs, and Longoria has driven in 3.
Yeah, we showed that stat last time he was up. He had tied David Ortiz for most RBIs against the Blue Jays since 2008. Well, he's going to break that tie with 1 swing. Infield in. That makes a good hitter a dangerous hitter. Watch how Evans stays inside that ball, shoots it to right field, and here comes Forsythe with run number 8. And right behind him, Kiermaier with number 9. It's been a 4-run inning so far for the Rays.
Still just 1 out. Brad Miller, the first baseman. For Longoria, that's his 5th hit against Feldman. He is 5 for 17. He drives in a couple of more runs. Longoria with a 3 RBI night. He's also had 3 hits. He's 3 for 4. Nine to 2 Tampa Bay. They have 14 hits. They also had 14 hits against Kansas City on the 3rd of August. They scored 12 runs on 14 hits.
Most hits in a game for Tampa this year is 18. They did that back on June 27th. 14 of them now.
One and 2 to Brad Miller. Little tapper up the third base line. Feldman grabs it and missed it, and Donaldson has nowhere to go with it. Another hit for Miller.
And another infield hit. We've seen a few of those.
That's 6 hits in the inning for Tampa Bay.
5 of them in a row. And when you're hot, even swinging bunts like this find a home. Nothing you can do if you're the Blue Jays. Just pick it up and give it to the pitcher. Not going to get anybody out.
Brett Cecil loosening up for the Blue Jays. Scott Feldman has retired just 1 batter since coming into the game. That was Tim Beckham. He struck Beckham out. Everyone else he has faced has a base hit.
Yeah, they need 2 innings from Scott Feldman tonight. This one and 1 more to give that bullpen a little bit of a rest. You'd hate to use Osuna, Grilli, and Benoit, your 7, 8, 9 guys who pitched yesterday. Biagini has thrown a lot lately, so you got to figure that he could use a night off.
Mikey Matuk. He's a 1-for-3. He was hit by a pitch. He also has an RBI single. Fights that one off and fouls it back. Tampa Bay, they've had some big games against the Blue Jays this season. They swept the Jays here in May. They scored 13 runs on 17 hits in game 1, 12 runs on 17 hits in game 2, and 6 runs on 10 hits in game 3.
Everything they were swinging at, if you remember that series, was finding a hole.
They outscored the Blue Jays 31-7 in that 3-game sweep. And that was a turning point for both of the ball clubs. That was the final game was on May 18th. The Blue Jays went on a tear after that, and Tampa Bay went into the dumper. 1-2. Matuk squibs it off the end of the bat. Russell Martin will go to first and throws it down the right field line. Longoria is in to score. Here comes Miller. He's in, and the ball was. They call the base runner out. Mikey Matuk is out for running inside the baseline, and the runners are going to go back.
Yeah, he was all over that as soon as it happened. Russell didn't really have a lane to throw in. I think they're going to take these runs off the board. And you can see the home plate umpire telling him what he saw, telling Kevin Cash what he saw. One more time, right off the end of the bat again. And this ball doesn't look like it's going to go foul.
You saw the last 2 steps of Matuk. He went inside the baseline. He was okay until those last 2 steps. Kevin Cash is a former catcher. He obviously understands the rules, but Mikey Matuk was clearly inside the foul line. Just the final 2 steps. He was okay in that running lane, and watch his last 2 steps.
Well,
1, 2, he's in the lane. And
that's the
Russell Martin didn't have a chance.
That's the hard thing about baseball, because you're trying to step in the middle of the bag. And the middle of the bag is 2 steps inside. I mean, that's the hard part about this whole thing. But in his judgment, he was too far inside, and everybody's going to go back to their bases. And there's 2 outs.
Longoria returns to second. Miller's back at first, and the out is 2 unassisted as Matuk is out. We're running out of the baseline. This is Corey Dickerson. He goes after the first pitch. That's a fair ball. Hope steps on the line, and the Blue Jays are out of the 7th, but Tampa Bay scores 4 runs on 6 hits and take a commanding 9-2 lead. Drive of the Game is brought to you by the all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Well, this is how this game's gone. First batter of the ball game, Logan Forsythe homers against the Blue Jays for the 4th time. Homered in the 9th inning yesterday. Homered in the 1st inning tonight. Forsythe with that home run, tonight's drive of the game. Tampa Bay Rays would go on to add 8 more runs to make it 9-2. That's where we sit here in the bottom of the 7th.
Forsythe certainly set the tone for this ball game before the fans were settled into their seat. Tampa Bay had a 1-0 lead. Rasmo Ramirez making his 45th appearance, and he has a 7-9 record. Upton goes after the first pitch and bounces it to Forsythe. 1 pitch, 1 out for Ramirez.
How about that? 44 games, he's made 1 start, and he's 7-9. 66 innings, he's given up 70 hits. They've hit 280 against him. 7-9.
He got off to a 6-1 start. He made that first start of the season on the 16th of April. That was against the White Sox. He won that game pitching 5 2/3, 3 hits of no-run ball. He got up to a great start, and then he really hit the wall.
How do you have 16 decisions with one start? I mean, that's pitching in some big ball games, some close games. 16 decisions this year.
Devin Travis extended his hit streak his last time up. Had an RBI single to right that it gives him a 6-game hit streak. And he's driven in 7 runs over the course of those 6 games. There's a fly ball to left down into the left field corner. It's hooking foul out of play into the seats. Starter for Tampa Bay, left-hander Drew Smyly, looking for his 4th win of the season. Throws just 83 pitches, goes 6 innings, allows 6 runs. Couple of earned runs, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Just 2 strikeouts for Smyly.
Yeah,
83 pitches and really got out of a couple of tough situations.
a couple times with the bases loaded. Last time out, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. That was against Kansas City. Some tough at bats. A lot of runners on base tonight against somebody strand them.
The Blue Jays have left 6 on base. They are just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Travis takes it outside. It's 1-2. We mentioned Ramirez got off to that 6-1 start, but what a different story. Since the 23rd of May, he's 1-8 with a .639 earned run average. And he's pitched in 26 games. Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder, breezes over and makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, you know what he does? He throws strikes. He works quickly, throws strikes. It's basically, here it is. See what you can do with it. He leads the American League in those relief innings this season. And you can do that when you work quickly and throw a lot of pitches quickly, throw strikes.
Over his last 26 games, the league has hit .352 against him. So they have figured him out after getting off to a great start. First pitch cutter for a strike to Bautista. Jose is 1 for 3. He doubled in his first at bat. Blue Jays again tonight, just 2 runs on 6 hits. Blue Jays tomorrow will face a young left-hander they've not seen before. Blake Snell will start for Tampa Bay in the series finale. They're matched up against Jay Happ. Snell 3-4 on the season with a very good ERA at .295. Jay Happ having a great season, 15-3. His ERA just over 3.
Here's the real deal from what Tampa Bay was saying. Blake Snell, their top prospect, hits the ball tomorrow. Blue Jays have to figure out these lefties. They've got a losing record against left-handed starters this year.
Jay Happ, one of 2 pitchers in the majors with 15 wins. The other, Steven Strasburg of the Nationals. Another 0-2 pitch. Bautista waits. Now Ramirez takes too long.
Fastball in, fastball up, slider, change up. Now he wants to go away.
Bouncing ball to Hopper to the shortstop, Beckham. Ramirez in and retires the side in order quickly in the 7th. Will go to the 8th. Tampa Bay with a big lead.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. A lot has changed in 40 years, but one thing hasn't. Honda, proud fan since 1977. Official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful evening in Toronto. The score is not so nice. Tampa Bay has a 9-2 lead. The Blue Jays won the opener of this three-game series 7-5 last night. Joaquin Benoit picking up his second win of the season. Different story tonight. Tampa Bay with 9 runs on 15 hits.
This is where we started last inning. Scott Feldman coming in. He faced Souza to lead off the inning. Faced 9 batters.
Souza hit a curveball in the left field to start the inning. Came around and scored the 6th Tampa Bay run. Pulls this one foul outside of third. Tampa Bay with 15 hits, as Pat mentioned earlier, the season high for Tampa Bay. 18 hits. That was on the 27th of June against the Boston Red Sox in St. Pete. Tampa Bay scored 5 runs in the first inning against Eduardo Rodriguez.
They came into this game last in the American League in batting, 239. Tonight they're hitting everything.
Souza is called out on strikes. He strikes out for a 3rd time. This time looking. Feldman, 2 strikeouts since entering the ball game. Well, you mentioned that Tampa Bay, they are bottom of the league in offense, but it once again proves that every night everybody has a chance to win.
Blue Jays have arguably their best pitcher going tonight against a team hitting 239 last in the American League. You say, well, that's an easy call. That's why this game is great, because you just never know what's going to happen night in and night out.
Breaking ball, and Beckham swings right through it. 0-2. Beckham struck out against Feldman in that 7th inning. Breaking ball is too far outside. You mentioned the Rays batting ranks in the American League, 15th in average at 239, 13th in runs per game at 4 runs a game. They've hit some home runs. They've hit a home run tonight, and they now have 146 home runs. That's good for 4th in the American League. Beckham strikes out for a 2nd time. 3rd time in the game, 2nd time against Feldman. Another big crowd on hand for the Blue Jays, 43,134. They had a crowd of over 43,000 last night. And the fans, they have been treated to an exciting season once again. And the Blue Jays started play tonight tied atop the American League East with the Orioles. Ground ball, Tulowitzki in the hole. Long throw in the dirt, scooped by Smoke. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's all Tampa Bay. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Olympic Games coverage on Sportsnet. You can tune in tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, and another medal tonight for Phelps in the pool. This guy is just unbelievable.
He has had some career as an Olympian. There's no question about that.
What year is it? That's what I want to know. When did he win all those medals? He's doing it again this year.
He's had an outstanding career, and it's spanned, what, 4 Olympics? Josh Donaldson facing Erasmo Ramirez takes the first pitch start. Donaldson is 1 for 2 with a walk tonight. The Blue Jays trying to get right back in it in the 5th and 6th inning. In both of those innings, they had back-to-back base hits to start the inning.
They had him on the ropes. 5 hits, a couple of walks, and all they got was 2 runs. They left 4 runners out there. There was a sacrifice fly and a double play ground out. They had the chances right there.
Donaldson strikes out. First out of the 8th. Edwin Encarnacion is 1 for 3 tonight. Blue Jays have just 6 hits.
He got a double from Bautista. That's an extra base hit. Travis has a single. Donaldson, Encarnacion, Tulowitzki, Saunders, 5 singles and a double.
Pulled to third. Easy hop for Longoria. 2 down. Ramirez coming into the game has retired all 5 batters he's faced.
Probably leave him in there so he can get a save, a 3-inning save. Save your bullpen for tomorrow.
Erasmo Ramirez has never had a big league save. He's had 4 save opportunities this season. Wasn't able to convert any of those.
We were talking last inning. He's been in 44 games, right? This is his 45th. He's got 16 decisions. He's also had 4 save opportunities this year, and he's zipped for 4. I mean, this guy must have been pitching in every single tight game for the Rays this season. Big game.
Well, we saw him early on when he was on that hot streak. Of course, the Blue Jays and Rays played a lot early in the season.
He was dealing, coming out of the bullpen, a valuable kind of guy. Spring training, they were like, well, let's see, can we put him in the starting rotation or should we put him in the bullpen? They've had some injuries to their starters. They feel like he is more valuable coming out of the pen, throwing multiple innings, and they can still stretch him out and use him if they need to as a starter.
Last year he had his career season with Tampa Bay, his first with the Rays. He went 11-6, made 27 starts, and threw a career high 131 in the 3rd innings. Jim Hickey got him to throw his fastball more. Martin gets jammed, breaks his bat. Beckham at short throws him out. Ramirez 6 up, 6 down over his 2 innings of relief. Will go to the 9th. Tampa Bay leads at 9-2. Brett Cecil comes into the ballgame to pitch to the ninth. This will be his 33rd appearance of the season. He gave up that grand slam to Kendrys Morales in Kansas City. Coming on in relief.
He was charged with one of those runs, that home run by Morales. 32 games now for Brett. There's 5 walks this season. Other changes for the Blue Jays. Josh Tolley comes in for Russell Martin. Darwin Barney comes in for Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop, and Daryl Siciliani takes over in right field for Jose Bautista.
Top of the order, Logan Forsythe. First pitch strike from Cecil. Forsythe has had 6 hits in this series so far. He's homered in each of the ball games. And a leadoff home run tonight, just his 2nd career leadoff home run. He's 3 for 5 tonight. He went 3 for 4 last night. 6 for 9 in the series. Blue Jays need to go back to the drawing board on Logan Forsythe.
He's been hitting against them all year long. Got that short stroke.
Forsythe 387 coming into this game for the season against the Jays. This is his 9th game.
Hardly any movement at the plate. Those kind of guys, they're going to be 300 hitters.
Cecil, here's the 2-2 pitch. Curveball in there for strike 3. Cecil strikes out Forsythe. He goes down looking. 2nd time he has struck out tonight.
Well, that's a good pitch. Starting to get that good movement on that breaking ball again, on that curveball. Blue Jays only have 1 left-hander in their bullpen. So in September, I think left-handed pitching becomes very paramount, because you're back into the American League East, and you've got to get those guys in that bullpen who are going to get big outs for you late in games against the left-handed sluggers in the American League East. Chris Davis, David Ortiz.
Hot shot. One hopper hit to the 2nd baseman. Kiermaier grounds out. 2 up, 2 down for Cecil here in the 9th. Well, the Blue Jays also will play the Angels and the Mariners on a West Coast swing in September. And of course, Seattle's got some left-handed bats. You need another lefty for that.
Robinson.
And then the Orioles and the Red Sox, that'll be the final homestand here. They'll face the Orioles, then they'll go to Boston for the final weekend of the season. 3-game series against the Red Sox in Boston.
Robbie Cano, Seattle, Adam Lynn, some lefties that you got to get out. You know all those games are going to be close. They always are.
A lot of great baseball left. Evan Longoria's had a big night at the plate. 3-hit night. He's driven in 3 runs. Longoria with 25 home runs, the most he's hit since 2013. This is a fly ball to right. Siciliani is there, and the inning is over, but Cecil has a clean inning in the 9th. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Tulowitzki, Saunders, and Smoke.
young professionals forward for Extra Innings on August the 18th. An exclusive event at Rogers Center hosted by Sportsnet's Hazel May, featuring a sports-focused panel discussion in support of Jays Care. Visit bluejays.com/extra innings to get your tickets today. And as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning with the Blue Jays down by 7, we go back to Buck and Pat.
Thank you, Barry. It'll be Darwin Barney who took over for Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop. He'll lead things off. And Michael Saunders and Justin Smoke. Erasmo Ramirez has retired all 6 since coming into the ball game. He has a strikeout,
and he's
ground ball outs and a flyout.
And he's never had a save.
Never had a save.
He has pitched a long time in the big leagues.
He's only had 4 save opportunities. They all came this season. Barney goes after the pitch. Longoria comes across from third and throws him out. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central, here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak. Thank you very much, Ken. That's coming up right after this ball game, so stay tuned and check in with Ken and Ivanka and find out what Canada did at the Summer Olympics. Michael Saunders is 1 for 3. Drives this ball to left. Mikey Matuk was playing him right there, 2 down.
Didn't even have to move, did he?
Saunders hit it hard, but right to the left fielder.
You see Erasmo Ramirez giving him a high five.
He's looking at that ball to see if it's flat on one side. Saunders hit it so hard. Saunders and Ramirez were teammates in Seattle, so he can have a little fun with that. Michael hit it right on the button. Blue Jays down to their final out. Justin Smoke takes the first pitch down and in. Drew Smyly, the starter, holds the Blue Jays to 2 runs on 6 hits over 6 innings. Ground ball. Longoria was shaded up the middle. That's the ball game. Erasmo Ramirez, a perfect effort over 3 innings of relief. He picks up his first big league save, as Tampa Bay has evened the series at a game apiece.
And Drew Smyly got off to a little bit of a rocky start, found it. Blue Jays couldn't come up with some big hits. He will pick up the W. And the Rays pound out 15 hits. The rubber match goes tomorrow with Jay Happ in the Blue Jays.
Jay Happ against Blake Snell. Blue Jays 2 runs on 6 hits. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central. Ken and Ivanka.